Hi, I'm Mark Anderson, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the Jumpstart Your Intranet workshop that Emily Mancini and I are going to be doing at the 365 EduCon conference this June in Washington, D.C. At Simpraxis, we build a lot of intranets, and some people think maybe the intranet is dead, that there are different ways to get the same kind of information out to the employees in an organization. But we think intranets still have a lot of place in the world. They're a great way to communicate information out to the general population, and it's also a great sort of portal in order to give people a way to interact with various business processes and open up a lot of self-service opportunities that a lot of organizations spend a lot of time dealing with in a sort of more offline or analog way. So what we'll talk about in this workshop, and it's an all-day workshop, we'll cover a lot of material. We'll talk about sort of the basic structure of how an intranet is built in modern SharePoint Online, and how we then surface that intranet through Teams using Viva Connections. The workshop is going to be very much hands-on. We'll certainly do some discussion and talking sort of at you or with you. And you'll also have a developer tenant where you can build some common solutions that we find ourselves building all the time. Things like a policy center, good global navigation, and the start of some personalized content experiences. So Emily, why don't you take over here and talk a bit about some of the specific things that we'll cover as we get into the workshop.
During this workshop, we'll be building in the developer tenant, as Mark mentioned, so that way anything that we create is something that you can bring back with you to your organization and demonstrate. We'll talk about creating a branded experience. We'll explore the site themes and organizational assets. We'll also help you build an enterprise information architecture. We'll cover things like site topology, naming conventions, navigation best practices, and how to build out your metadata using content types, site columns, and manage metadata. We'll also cover some better practices for lists and libraries, page layouts, content organization, permissions, so that way you can be sure that you're building a scalable information architecture in SharePoint Online so you can grow your intranet very quickly and easily over time. We'll also make sure that you're surfacing the right information at the right time. So we'll talk a bit about audience targeting and different things that you can use like learning pathways or filtering content in out-of-the-box web parts. We'll also be talking about how to centralize your information and create these search-based experiences. We love working with the content type gallery, and one of our favorite web parts is the modern PnP search web part, so we'll be sure to spend some time on this. Now, when you're building your intranet, it's also really important to think about learning and onboarding content. So we'll talk about learning pathways versus Viva Learning and maybe why you would pick one over the other. As Mark mentioned, we'll make sure we focus on creating that seamless connection between your intranet and Teams by implementing Viva Connections to bring your intranet right there into Teams where everyone's already working. Last but not least, we'll demo some advanced topics towards the end so you have some ideas of where you could focus on growth in the future. We'll talk about site templates and PnP provisioning templates. We're really looking forward to exploring all of your content with you in this workshop.
Thanks, Emily. We really enjoy building intranets. It's something that we think the Microsoft 365 platform just is so well suited for. And so we're hoping that you can join us for this workshop to get a good understanding of some of the ways that we build intranets based on the experience that we have, and some really great sort of takeaways that you can take back to your organizations as you're thinking about either launching a new intranet or tuning an intranet that you've already built on top of the platform. We look forward to talking to you in detail, and we'll help you figure out a lot of the important things you're going to need to know. Thanks.